Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina. This is Lifting Pins and Needles, a channel all about sewing. Welcome and thank you for spending a little bit of time to see what I have sewn up. Just a few hours ago I finished actually. Before I go on, I'd love you to subscribe. If you haven't yet subscribed and you have been watching a few videos and enjoying all the content, please tap on the subscribe and tap on that bell so you never miss when I upload a video full of sewing tips. Today, I am really excited to show you a commercial pattern, a big 4 pattern. And you know, I've said before, I really treasure these patterns because I don't have access to them. I have been growing a small stash that has been sent to me very generously by friends that are in the States. And I'm very grateful, very grateful. And I recently received some patterns as a gift from my friend Carla all the way up in the States. Up I say because I'm in Brazil and it's more southern in the world. And I mentioned I wanted to do this sort of quick, because I am in winter and I do need some things to put on myself. And I'm going to show you McCall's 7254. I don't know what you're gonna see there, but this cardigan is super cool, and I'll insert some line art here so you can see the features. It's got several lengths. Sleeves option, sleeveless option, and the most simple one even is like a little bolero view A. My initial plan was to make this the longest version with the long sleeves. I wasn't able to fit that into 2 yards of fabric, which is the amount I had for this project, but I was able to settle for view C, which is a bit shorter in length but still has the sleeves that I really wanted the sleeves, you know. On the back of this envelope, for all the projects made out of knits, for these types of patterns, there is a stretch guide at the back, and from what I can gather, this calls for a knit that has at least 25% stretch horizontally, and it does say on the envelope really clearly that it's for structured knits that don't stretch too much. So that's cool, my favorite type of knit to sew with, and it's pretty easy for me to find that sort of knit here where I live. So it says here sweater knit, interlock, cotton knit, sweatshirt, fleece. Well, the one I have is actually none of these. I don't even know what it is, but it is a medium weight knit that stretches 25%. This pattern comes from sizes extra small to extra large, but it's divided into 2 different envelopes. This particular envelope has sizes large and extra large. So when I was opening the pattern pieces and getting ready to trace, I wanted to actually trace so I can conserve the pattern original. So I only had sizes L and extra large there, and on the pattern pieces it had the finished bust measurement, and for size L the finished bust measurement was exactly my bust measurement, like my normal bust measurement. It would give me no wearing ease. And thinking and trying to rationalize my thoughts, I'm thinking, you know, I want to put stuff underneath a cardigan. It is a winter garment. I do want a bit of ease. I saw that the extra large had 4 inches more than my bust measurement there at the finished bust. I thought, yeah, I'll just make an extra large to be on the safe side and then see how it goes, and then I'll just bring it in if I have to. Well, guess what I had to do? So in Up Close and So Personal, I'm going to show you the pattern pieces, some basic construction. It's a very easy cardigan to put together with a really nice result. The design is really nice and clever, and you get all this fabulous collar piece there without much effort at all. I did encounter some fitting issues, and I went the non-traditional way to be able to fix them. The easiest way to fix them actually. I could have taken another route, but due to the fact that my fabric is fuzzy, you can't really see seam lines on there. I did what I did, and you're going to see that next. So let's hop into Up Close and So Personal. I'm making this pattern, and initially I wanted to make view E, which is a long sleeve, longer version of this pattern, but I tried to place my pattern pieces in every single way. I had only 2 yards of fabric and there was no way, so I had to settle for view C. View C also has long sleeves, but it's just a shorter length if you compare it to view E right there. So it's just, you know, I don't know where it's going to hit me, but I barely was able to get all the pattern pieces in 2 yards for this view right there. I have all the pattern pieces here, and just by placing them like this, I already sort of know how this is going to come together. These are the sleeves, so we'll ignore those. I have marked all my notches with chalk for this pattern. These 2 pieces, I had to cut them 4 times, so there's 2 layers here on each. Same as those peplum pieces that go underneath the back piece over there. So basically these 2 will be in a double layer. There are notches here. This is the front piece, it's curved. There's a notch there that will match a notch there, and one there that will match a notch up there. So yeah, this will be like a curved band that goes all the way across the front and towards the back in a double layer. I'm gonna have a look at the instructions to start putting this together, figuring out how to sew. I have done the first couple of steps to assemble this cardigan. I have sewn the shoulder seams and the side seams, and I've serged them. Pattern did instruct to stabilize the shoulder seams, and I have just fused on a strip of woven interfacing there, as you can see, so there's no stretching out on these shoulders. This round weirdness has already been sewn together, so those roundy bits, those pattern pieces, there was a seam to sew up on the top there. That is going to be the center of the collar piece, and then at the bottom here they meet up with the side seams of the peplum piece that goes attached to the back part of the cardigan, so that makes up this huge circle. Now these were all meant to be cut twice, so I have another piece exactly like this. The only difference is that the other one is not interfaced, this area. That's why you see this black. I fused on some stretch interfacing onto these pieces as instructed, not the peplum here. Here is the other one that hasn't been interfaced, so it's exactly the same thing. And what I need to do with these 2 now is place them right sides together and then sew all the way around this circle, all the way around. Took me a little while, but I have put both pieces together, right sides together. You can see there. These are the side seams, and that is the top seam there for the back of the neckline, and sew all this big circle around. I have sewn all the way around and trimmed that seam allowance. Seam allowance is 5/8. I trimmed it and left about 1/4 of an inch there. So now I have to turn this right side out and do some understitching. So I've decided to let the interfaced area be the outer part that you can see, because it's going to be smoother. That means I need to understitch this other area so that the inside layer is not going to pop out onto this area. So when I'm wearing the cardigan, this is going to be the outer area, interface bit, and this one's going to be on the back. I'm going to open this, flip that seam allowance to the left underneath there, and do an edge stitch, or aka understitch. I'm at the machine, and you can see my interfaced area and the seam, and then what comes to the left is the non-interfaced area. So I'm tucking away that small seam allowance towards the left. I'm using my edge foot that I use for understitching. It makes it really nice and neat. Now I'm not understitching the whole circle of this piece. I'm just understitching the area that will be visible as that shawl collar look that will flop over on top of my chest. So I've measured that area from the center back neckline down the center of my body to a certain area, and that is the big area that I am understitching, but you're going to see that more clearly when I show you the finished garment. So after doing all that understitching, I flipped it to the right side here. I did a basting stitch on all this round area to keep those 2 layers together, and then I have pinned it all the way around the little front and back pieces that I had already united. So that center seam there at the back meets the center of the neckline there, and then it goes off into the front. So the front piece was curved, and that matches there. There's a couple of notches to match up here. The side seams are matched right there with the peplum here on the bottom, and it's just one continuous round stitch. 5/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to serge that and trim it to 3/8 of an inch total. On the right side, it's going to look like that. So you can see that round area there, and then the band that goes all the way around, really nicely shaped. After doing that, it's just popping on the sleeves and done. Quite simple make. After sewing on all this round band to the main body of the cardigan, I decided to top stitch that seam down. I have trimmed the seam allowance to 3/8, but there's quite a lot of layers. The fabric is thick and bulky, so top stitching it down with 1/4 of an inch is going to give a really nice clean finish. You can see partially where I've already top stitched. It looks really nice, and the stitching actually sinks into this neat fabric, so it's an extra step I decided to add, as similar to the understitching that also wasn't included in the pattern instructions. Here you can see this cardigan inside out, and you can actually see the design lines here when it's inside out. This is the main body, the front that curves, and then these huge bands that are curved and go around to the back like that. Anyway, I made a size too big because I'm chicken. I made a size too big, and on this side you can see that I have so much excess here under the arms. I don't want it to be super tight, but there's just too much excess there, and also the shoulders are too wide. So I could definitely undo the sleeves and correct this shape and then reattach them, but I want to try something else, and I've done it on the other side. So this piece here is quite large, and it flops over like that. So in this area under here, I can do a little shoulder dart that will be hidden behind this, and maybe I can take that shoulder dart a little bit more in, but it's already better. Like I think it's right where it's supposed to be, right there, comparing it to this one that is dropped. So I pinched that little dart. It's about 3/8 of an inch depth right there. And at the back, you're barely going to be able to see that little dart at the back there. And having darts on the back is not wrong, you know. Also, under here, I have pinned in about 1 inch. And I'm going to pin that and taper that down. I'm also going to have to narrow the sleeve to match what I'm going to do here as well. Small adjustments, and I'm going to be happier with the fit. Here you can see I've pinned those shoulder darts there. I made sure they were at the same place on both shoulders. And here are the side seams and the sleeves. The sleeves have like a longer seam so that the taper can be more, not so dramatic. Here I'm sewing that shoulder dart, and I'm really careful when I get to that seam on the shoulder that it's going to match on the other side. You see me, I take the pin at the very last moment. These darts are not long. On the front it's got a 3-inch length, and on the back a 4-inch length. So just a simple shoulder dart that I do on both sides of the cardigan. Now we can see it on the other side, that the shoulder seam matches. That intersection is quite neat there. You're barely going to be able to see these shoulder darts with this type of fabric. And now I'm starting to sew the sleeves, narrowing those sleeves from sort of midway of the sleeve and going up to where the armpit is. And you can see that I've got my other seam right next to it, so I can sew them at the same width, the same amount I'm taking in. So now I'm tapering in to the waist from the bust down on the side seam there. And that is how it looks. So that's from the waist going up. It matches so that these seams are going to match, and then that longer length there on the sleeve. I hope that was fun to watch, and a very practical way to fit things on you by just trying them on inside out and pinning out excess. You know, I could have like reshaped the arm side and the sleeve and all that, but what for, really, when that collar piece is actually going to hide that little fit, you know, dart that I did, because it is a fit dart to help with fit, not a design thing, and you're not going to see it, you know. So here is my cardigan. You see I don't know what this fabric is. It looks really fuzzy on this side. It looks like it's like a wool thing, but it's totally not. Like, it's totally acrylic. And on the inside, it's shiny and slippery. So who knows what this is? I found it locally. I thought it looked nice, and it feels nice to wear, and it feels nice and warm. There's no natural fibers in here, I'm sure. I'm very sure about that. So you see that this collar, that is just part of that big round piece, you know, comes over here and sort of hides those little dots. So where are they? I don't know if you can see them, but they're right there. And when I was pinning them on myself, I pinned them for them to be angled in towards me, not straight down, you know. So that little dot that starts at the shoulder seam goes up to there. It's 3 inches in length. And the one that goes at the back, that matches that one, I can't even see it. Where is it? No one can see them. No one's gonna know. It starts there, and it's also angled up to there. And that one's a bit longer, 4 inches in length. I made this one longer so that the shape at the back would be more slight, so I wouldn't have such a dramatic, you know, dot there. That's why I did that. I didn't need to do that on the front. So that was my solution to that. While I was fixing this, I took another look at the product photo there of the model, and her shoulders look really dropped. I don't know if you can see there, but it does look dropped, and maybe this is a dropped feature, like a dropped shoulder design. I don't like those designs. I don't like dropped shoulders. I like them to be at my shoulder, and if they're dropped, they will have to be super dropped. But when it's just a little bit dropped, it looks like it just doesn't fit well. Yeah, that's just what I think. So that little dot I did was 3/8 of an inch in depth, which actually, when you multiply that by 2, is 2 centimeters. That's sort of like 3/4 inch that I took out from that, you know, it's not drooping down from there. It's just right at my shoulder. I ended up taking in here a further 5/8 of an inch here on the top, and then tapering down to there, and the same on the sleeve, so that that seam underneath there matches. So that is the adjustment I made. It's still a nice loose fit, but better than what I had initially. I thought about putting a button because I think the crossover is a bit bigger than what's intended, because I made a size too large, but I'm just gonna leave it. The understitch I mentioned is just from around here. So behind there, all the way up, around here, down there, and up to here, I have the understitching on this side, and that is totally invisible. I am sure you're not going to be able to see that, but it helps this sort of lie smooth, and this inner layer there stay underneath and not peep to this side. This wasn't mentioned on the pattern instructions, as was the top stitching of this curve that you saw me do. I think it makes the seam lie flatter, especially if you're working with a medium weight knit. They tend to be quite bulky at the seams. So here you can see it on the inside, it's been serged and top stitched, and it's really nice and flat as it goes all the way around the back and that curve. Here I have it on, it hits mid hip for me, sort of thing. You can see the collar, the back. I think it's got a really nice shape for a cardigan. And up close, I'm trying to show you my shoulder dots that not even I can find. They're totally covered by that sort of shawl collar at the back. I'm trying to show you that too. Very hard to see. I can't even see them. I think the sleeves fit better now. I really like this design, and I'm super happy I made it. I love it. It's just so cool, and it's very cozy. I'm gonna enjoy wearing this. That collar makes you feel like you're getting a hug.
Sun don't rise, all the light is gone.
Okay, so I've got it on now and I'm super happy with this. I think it's a really nice looking cardigan that looks way more complicated than it actually is to sew up. I think the designs are really nice, all this area here, and it's just a really nice cozy cardi that I can wear in this cold period of the year. If you find this in your local shops, wherever you are, or you can purchase it online, I highly recommend. You know, I think it's a fabulous pattern and totally worth looking for and making. It's really nice. So thank you, Carla, for this pattern. Thank you so much for sending it to me. It's being put to good use and I love my cardigan. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow with another video, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm really excited about the 2 items I have to show you tomorrow. So I will see you then. Bye and happy sewing.